Hi! In the previous video on the innovation process, we briefly walked you through the 4 phases. In this video and the following 3, we will have a closer look at each of the 4 phases to give you a more detailed presentation of the goal, the focus, the activities, and the expected results in each phase. The first phase, the insight phase, is often the most critical part of the innovation process, as it lays the foundation and the direction for the entire innovation process. One of the most important aspects of the process is making sure that you solve the right challenge to create truly valuable solutions. In other words, the quality of the other phases can never be higher than the quality of the work in this phase. So, in the insight phase, we are addressing 3 different elements. First, identifying, selecting, and defining the problem we want to address or solve. Second, get a deeper understanding of the problem, its importance, nature and complexity, causes and effects, and acceptable solutions. And 3, exploring how people experiences the problem. Understand your key target groups, the users, the customers, the partners, and what is important to them, how they think, feel, and act. And as in all innovation processes, this is not a linear step-by-step process, but a process where you can work in all the different aspects simultaneously. When identifying, selecting, and defining the problem and its scope, it can be essential to keep in mind that it should not be too broad nor too specific. Firstly, if your problem description scope is too broad, it might make it challenging to get a manageable and clear picture of what you are trying to solve. It will lead to many such opportunities and potential directions that it will be challenging to make the right choices. It might also be difficult for people you involve to understand what they are helping you to solve, and the process might be unfocused and uninspiring. But secondly, on the other hand, a too specific and narrow scope of your problem might limit the potential for creative and new solutions and opportunities to be explored. And you might reduce the possibility of finding generally new and useful solutions. So, to address these issues, we can start by writing a preliminary problem description used to guide the process. The problem description should be continuously updated during the process, as we learn new things that helps us get closer to identifying our primary problem to solve in the next phase. Innovation is not a goal in itself. The goal is to find valuable solutions for real and important problems for people. And it is wise to assume that if the problem is important, there is probably someone else that has addressed it before. That's why you should always include some level of desktop research or activities to 1. Find and understand the nature and complexity of the problem. We can use different tools helping us to understand better what aspects of the problem are important to address, the root causes and the effects. You can, for instance, use tools to help map and systemically explore the problem based on your own experience and knowledge, such as the mapping tool, problem, cause, effect. This is also suitable to do together with your colleagues or in a project team. You can also collect your data through tools such as surveys, interviews, workshops, focus groups, etc. And 2, find existing relevant sources. Find data, statistics, and research that might be relevant in your project. Find reports, best practice, or case studies from others that have worked on the same or similar problems. And as a minimum, do a quick Google search on a few essential keywords. You might even find an existing solution that you just need to tweak a little and adapt to your context. This search might be one of the vital time-saving activities you do in your projects. Often we start the innovation process based on various assumptions of what other people think and want. We are all products of our culture, our age, our gender, our socioeconomic status, and so on. But we are not always aware of all the experiences and perspectives we take for granted. Remember that the process is not about creating solutions that you think your users want, but ensuring that you create something that they actually need and want. To reach that goal, you need to really get to know your users by observing and engaging with them with empathy. Try to take their perspective, see the world through their eyes, and try to understand their situation, feelings, views, drivers, as well as their pain points. What difficulties and barriers are your users coming up against? What patterns do you observe? So to get a clearer picture of how our users actually see and experiences the problem, we do three things. We talk to people, ask questions, have conversations, and listen to their stories. We observe and look for gaps between what people say and what they do. And we gather all of our findings and start to make sense of them in the form of pattern and habits. Design thinking is a perspective and a collection of tools that are of great value in this phase. You might like to try making empathy maps, value proposition canvas, journey mapping, exercises, or observations. As a minimum, you should have a chat or a more structured interview with some of those who experience the problem and for whom your solution are created to deliver value. See the Tinker Book of Buzzwords to read a bit more about design thinking. At the end of the insight phase, you will better understand the way a problem is defined and understood is one of the most critical factors for success. If you do not solve the right problem, you might end up with great solutions that are not used and give no value. It is also important to note that all your innovation activities will provide you with insights and learnings that are important and make you see the problem and value of potential solutions in a new light. When generating new ideas, you will see the problem from different angles. When you are developing and testing your solutions, you will learn a lot about the users, their perspectives, and their context. These are all relevant insights that you will use to guide your project to make sure the probability of a substantial impact increases. At the end of the insight phase, you will have a better understanding of a defined problem worth solving, the nature of the problem, how people experience the problem, and who will be essential to bring on board. The goal is to understand the problem's complexity better and choose what you actually want to solve in the next phase. This phase helps you understand and map the problem holistically, both based on data you collect, existing data, or people's experience of the problem you have explored through the insight activities. Towards the end of this phase, you should have a specific and limited problem statement that you can utilize as a starting point on the next step, the ideation phase.